Gamercast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the Gamercast Network Video Game Show, episode number 60 for Sunday, October 21st, 2007. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, when I say your name, tell me the way you prefer to die in reality if you had to die away from a video game. So, joining us this evening is Bob.
I would like to be killed by a giant talking, walking mushroom, as would happen to me in Final Fantasy I don't know how many times, because people would be like, so how'd Bob die? And they'd be like, well, now this is a story. So yes, a giant talking mushroom would kill me with a dagger in a bar, because I was hitting on his woman.
It sounds like something you'd see on Family Guy. like they do one of those little flashback things, and you see this giant mushroom. Hey, you trying to hit on my woman?
They got bad attitudes, man. I just want people to tell that story, like how'd Bob die? And they pour a little bit of their current beverage on the floor. They're like, this is a rough way to go. Killed by a giant talking mushroom. You don't hear about that too often.
No, we don't. Okay, moving on. Next on the list is Ivan.
How about walking around castle grounds and being attacked by a giant dragon shaped like a chicken and being swallowed whole?
Dragon?
Go on.
Cricket.
What the hell game is that from?
Kind of like in Adventure.
Oh!
The Atari 2600. The dragons looked like chickens, kind of. They didn't have wings. They were just kind of a giant circle with legs and a head, and their stomach was empty. And if you got killed by the dragon, they just kind of walked up to you and went, "Whoa!" and swallowed you whole, and it just made a little sound, and you could see your little square in his stomach.
So you want to become a square in some dragon's stomach.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
So what do you got?
Yeah, what's your amazing one?
Mine's pathetic. Actually, I want to change mine now. Hang on, give me a second.
Well, you have to at least tell us what you thought of initially.
I wanted to look cool when I died, and one of the most cool death effects I've seen in the game was getting hit with like a sword that would vaporize you completely. Kind of look cool, being eaten alive with fire and embers and just disappear.
Well, I mean, I thought of a couple cool ones too, but I mean, they were kind of,
It's no getting swallowed by a giant dragon.
Yeah. I mean, the first one I thought of was like, name your favorite Jedi Knight Star Wars game and be slashed in half by a lightsaber so that you could be struck down and become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Or you could be like that one guy in the Jedi one where he got sliced in half and he actually lived. He was a Sith Lord. He was fighting a Jedi Knight and he got sliced in half. And because of his pure rage and hatred, he maintained himself and floated around with a lightsaber.
When you say that, though, I have visions of like Monty Python and the Black Knight and him kind of hobbling.
One hand on a lightsaber and the other one doing like the army crawl.
You know what? You guys hit by mushrooms, eaten by dragons. I'm going to go Blaze of Glory, Wing Commander. I've launched my torpedoes, didn't destroy the capital ship, so I'll ram my fighter into the capital ship hoping it dies.
Kamikaze style.
Kamikaze style.
This week on the Gamercast Network, Uncle Gamer continues the Halo 3 difficulty debate and talks about EA's recent acquisition of BioWare and Pandemic. Achievement Junkie goes classic as they talk about what current games you think will turn into classics, plus winner announcements and a girl-on-girl puzzle quest challenge. Episode 119 of Gamertag Radio has EA's Army of Two community coverage, plus a roundtable discussion about the game's multiplayer features and more. On Sarcastic Gamer, Doc uncovers a scandal brewing on the forums. Lano is issued a mandatory bedtime, plus a ton of in-depth discussion of the Orange Box. On Podtacular, Fumo Jive, JVB, and Killazilla pass on a ton of cool Halo 3 custom games sent in from the community, plus fresh map variations and easy downloading with file share. Discover the website that brings you all of these great episodes and headlines at GamerCastNetwork.com. That's GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
Now that the people of the world have heard us talk about Hellgate London and hint at what we have played in the beta, they have this week lifted the NDA, allowing us to speak our minds and tell the world how great it is to play Hellgate London.
Let's do the what the hell is this game first.
Premise of Hellgate London is set in near future, kind of post-apocalyptic, and I don't know if they ever said, but alien invasion,
No. Gates from hell have opened up. You know, it's like they've opened up before because there's a very Lovecraftian feel to the demons. If you ever read any H.P. Lovecraft, the demons kind of look like that.
Tentacly, spectrally, not quite there, etherealness. Yeah.
The thing is, people in the past have known these demons were there, which was kind of like the Templar Knights were the humans' answer to fighting these demons. When demons went away, they kind of hidden themselves, and throughout time were getting ready for the demons to come back. And now, near future, Hellgates open up again, Templars stand up and start fighting them.
So you get this kind of sci-fi medieval mix because all these Templars are still wearing swords and shields. You know, they're also grouped with like high-tech mercenaries and Kabbalists, these people who have kind of learned to master these demon powers and can cast spells and stuff.
So basically what it boils down to is you running around with swords, magic, and guns, killing zombies and other hideous monsters.
A more perfect premise for a game I really could not devise.
Okay, so that's the premise of the game. So now how does it play?
I want to say it plays a lot like Diablo, but in 3D, which it kind of does, but if you've ever played Diablo and then you play this, you're like, no, there's really no similarity.
It's kind of the same style as like Fear or Half-Life, where you're a guy with weapons and you run around killing demons and whatnot. Except the difference here is there's also, you level up, you can mod your equipment, you can group with other people.
But yeah, it's like Fear or Half-Life mixed with World of Warcraft.
But you have to understand, unlike normal MMOs, the reason it gets compared to Diablo 2 is you're not fighting one guy for 30 seconds. You're getting attacked en masse by 50 demons all at once. So you're constantly jumping back and forth, switching what target you're attacking. Stuff goes down pretty quickly, but so the challenge is in killing many rather than killing the few.
Yes. And the other thing here is, I don't know why people got in their heads this is an MMO.
It's really not.
Guild Wars is considered an MMO. It's along those lines where you can go to towns and everybody in the game is available to interact with. They're all instance dungeons, which means as soon as you enter a dungeon, or in this case, a subway tube or something, you and your group are the only people in there.
I think they also confuse the issue with this whole pricing scheme of having the subscription content.
Subscription-based model type stuff is usually reserved for MMOs. So if you're paying $10 or $15 a month, you're usually playing an MMO. Now the difference here is that Hellgate London is going to have at least two different models, one being free and then one being a subscription-based. And if you're paying the subscription, you get additional benefits. They claim that there's really no gameplay difference between the two, other than maybe some unique areas that paying people can get to, some unique items. However, the unique items are unique in name. They claim that, because you're paying $10 a month, you're not going to get an Uber weapon that somebody who's playing for free can't get. Mention the classes at least real quick.
There's three different basic classes. You have melee, is what's called the Templar Knights, and there's two different kinds of Templar Knights. There's a Blade Master, which are dual wield kind of berserker classes, and there's the Guardians, which are more of your standard tanks. Then you have your Hunter class. One of those is the Marksman, which is just uses rifles and grenades, and another Hunter is called the Engineer, and their thing is they still use rifles, but they create bots and little pets and stuff that also aid. And then you have your Kabbalists, which are the masters of all of this latent magical energy. And you have your evokers, which are magicians, and then you have your summoners, which, summon demons, go figure, and also have some of the same attacks that the evokers do.
And another thing here, skills in this game really are secondary to your gear. Your gear is what's important in this game.
You're right, the spells are kind of secondary, and even more so, a lot of your spells augment your weapons. You actually have to get a spell that allows you to zoom in with a scope for your rifle. And that's at level 5 or 7 or something like that. Whereas beforehand, you can zoom in a little bit with your rifle, but you don't get the crosshairs. So that's actually a spell. And then there's another one that you can squat down or kneel down, and your aim and accuracy and damage are greatly increased. So not only are they secondary to your weapons, they're secondary in the fact that they augment your weapons a lot too.
Next topic.
So that was the overview of Hellgate London. Now onto the game itself.
It's fun. I don't know if we brought that up.
Okay, so we have been playing the beta for a couple weeks. Normal beta people only have access to the first 3 acts of the game, which apparently people are saying that's about roughly the first third of the game. The last 2 acts, acts 4 and 5, apparently have a lot more content than the first 3. Normal beta people are capped at level 22. We can't go the full 50 levels. So we really can't experience a lot of the other skills, the deeper skills. You gotta understand something here is that unlike beta for a real MMO like World of Warcraft or Warhammer, this game also has a single-player component, so the devs themselves have been spending a lot of their time over the last month or so getting the single-player game ready to go, ready to ship. So the single-player people won't have problems when they launch. They've been kind of holding off on updating the beta.
Can I just start out by saying, worst beta I've ever played. As far as devs responding to issues quickly and feeling like the information that you post on the forums is something that they're going to find useful.
I haven't been in a lot of betas, but I've been in the Halo 3 beta, the Shadowrun beta, at least recently, and those were very solid, very stable, very playable games. Yeah, they had some issues and some bugs, but this game had bugs that would lock you out from playing for days on end.
And then you'd go on the forums, post your error, and they'd be like, yeah, we know this. We're pretty sure what's wrong with it, but we're working on the single player now. Expect something sometime next week.
I think right now, as I said, not on air, but I think this was a beta just for stress testing their servers.
It really seems that way. I mean, after a while, you kind of got that issue that the networking people were running this beta, not so much the gameplay people. Like,
especially when you log into the forums and the people who were responding to the forum posts were the Ping Zero team, which is the networking team.
Though in their defense, the fact that you could get into the beta by merely pre-ordering the game made this not what we call a closed beta, where they handpick who they want to test their game. And so 90% of the crap that was on the forums was just crap and just people just flaming the devs left and right.
And that would be,
I do not envy the moderators in trying to, if their job actually was to sift through that and find worthwhile like information like, oh, here's a bug right here. Mostly it was just people saying, you know, flagship studios for the loss over and over again.
As far as the forums go, they were insane. So if you were playing and all of a sudden it crashed, you'd go to the forums to try and figure out what was wrong. You'd get to one forum thread, which you figured was the thread where everyone was posting, and by the time you would post a comment and refresh, literally anywhere from 5 to 10 pages of forum posts would have spawned. So, I mean,
ridiculous.
You could not, it was impossible to keep up.
And it was mostly just people talking back and forth like it was an instant messenger, too.
I have issues when I go to a beta forum and people are requesting an off-topic forum. And I'm like, this is a beta. People, if you want that, go somewhere else.
Open betas are a really, really bad idea.
Praise should be given to these poor people on these forums, these moderators. They're Tiggs, I believe, is their main liaison to the dev team. She has to sift through all of that crap. All that noise.
It was kind of a sign of the times. Unfortunately, she made it known that she was female, which meant all of the teenage boys out there were hitting on her and asking her about her personal life. And, you know, she was a very nice person and tried to answer all the questions. But as Chad said, this is a beta forum. It should be about information about the game and about the beta, and she's answering questions about where she lives, what she's wearing, and that kind of crap. It was awful.
Fun game. Real fun game.
So the fact of the matter is, we really didn't get to play this game nearly as much as we had hoped, and they had a bad habit of bringing the game down 10:30 Saturday morning and bring it up again the following Sunday at 10:30. And so the day when all of us could really play in group, they would just take the game down. And this happened for the past 2 weekends, so we really haven't gotten to play much other than the couple of times we solo during the week.
Next topic.
Of everything Hellgate, what issues do you see so far?
Biggest problem I'm having is basic gameplay functionality is still in question, and we're a week away, and they say the game has gone gold already. They had pictures from their little soiree or whatever to celebrate that. And I, as someone who's been on a lot of betas and seen, you know, a lot cleaner games go live and have thousands of issues, and this game, you know, barely runs as is, and they're going to go live in a week. If you buy the game and you want to play on Halloween, I really wouldn't plan on it because something's going to go wrong.
I assume the single-player game will probably play okay, since that's supposedly what they've been working on, but most of us here aren't going to play the single-player game.
Yeah, the problem is there's no difference between the single-player and the online game, except you can't play online if you're playing the single-player only game.
First off, we should say here, in Diablo 2, you had two different characters. Your character in the single-player game couldn't be taken online. You had to have a separate character for your online stuff. Titan Quest kind of confused that issue because in Titan Quest, it was the same character. You could use the same one back and forth. Hellgate is the Diablo model, so you're going to have two different characters. But most of us here don't want to do the single-player stuff. We want to play together, so we're going to want to play the multiplayer stuff.
And even if you're playing by yourself, you're going to play the multiplayer game just by yourself, so that when you do play again with your friends, you get to use all the cool stuff that you found.
I see the online launch as being relatively rocky to start out with. I'm questioning how well their subscription-based model will run with the current state of everything.
And hopefully, if there are issues, they get them resolved rather quickly, or they're going to just be flooded with people saying, I'm paying $10 a month for this, and I want a refund because this is unplayable.
They brought this upon themselves because in the subscription model, you are given priority telephone access, free telephone consultations.
Oh, that's no good.
Oh, no.
You can bet when it crashes on Halloween, I'm going to be calling them up.
And you can also bet
drunk.
that they've...
I played your beta and it didn't work then either. And now, hello, y'all, don't think I won't call you back. Beep, boop, bop, boop, beep.
Yeah, they're going to be flooded with calls. Just absolutely flooded.
Okay, say the start is rocky. I wasn't part of WoW at the beginning, and was WoW very rocky when it started out?
Queues. They installed queues where you had to wait to log in because they couldn't handle as many people as they thought were going to play.
Well, hang on. There are queues in Hellgate London. As a subscriber, you're in front of that queue when you go to play online.
Okay, yeah, but there weren't supposed to be any. It was one of those things where you could only play like every third time you logged in. And I have a feeling Hellgate's going to be the exact same way. And then after about a month, it cleared up. And so honestly, if I didn't like this game so much, I probably would just wait until December to buy it and start playing once they have all this crap. But it's gonna suck. First probably 4 weeks are just gonna suck.
We persevere here, though. Even though things suck, hey, we'll try it. We're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah,
We'll have fun by attrition.
Yeah, that's right. Fun by attrition.
Next topic.
From a study by the Electronic Entertainment Design and Research Group. They found that games with more achievements scored both a higher Metacritic rating and higher gross in U.S. sales.
We're talking Xbox 360 games here.
So I know Bob here does not give a crap about achievements.
Nope.
In fact, you probably actively try to not get the achievements.
I want the lowest gamer score ever, but unfortunately I played too much Rainbow Six.
Vegas.
And I ended up with my gamer score breaking 700, which pissed me off. I wanted to keep it below 2.
Personally, me, I really don't care. I see it's nice when it lights up and says, hey, you have an achievement. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I am in the middle of the road. I like achievements. I think they're fun. With like BioShock, I've gone back to play the game multiple times just to get achievements. But I am one level removed from the quote-unquote achievement whores who will buy or rent games like whatever that surfing penguin surfs up game or King Kong, which are notorious for having easily achieved achievements. I don't go that far. I like to get the achievements in the games that I buy. I don't necessarily buy games because of their achievements, but if I have them, I will certainly try to get as many as I can.
Yeah, and I was going to add on to this. One of the things I noticed when Orange Box came out, I don't know if this is the first Valve game with achievements on Steam, but in Steam, there are achievements. I think they're the same achievements you can get in Orange Box for Xbox 360. Obviously, Valve here is buying into this idea of achievements and adding, probably for their games that they put out on Steam, are going to have achievements, I'm guessing. If they started here, what's to stop them from going further? And
this is for Valve published games, right? So like you can buy Titan Quest over Steam, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be getting achievements.
I would imagine that they would probably pimp to developers from this point forward, hey, if you're going to sell your game over Steam, look at this whole achievement system we're putting in. Maybe you guys want to think about using this.
Maybe you guys want to think about making us some more money because 50% more revenue. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, Microsoft has obviously proven that achievements are very popular, so why not borrow that model? Honestly, like I said, Surf's Up and King Kong, I can't guarantee, but I'd be willing to bet that those games sold more and were rented more because of the fact that there were easy achievement points. And
Dude,
I'd also
I'm going to start deving games that are you can win just by pressing the A button. But there's 1,000 achievement points in each, and I'm gonna develop all of them within a week and a half. And I'm just gonna start putting out games one after the other after the other. They're gonna cost $5.
And your first game's going to be called Achievement Whore.
Achievement Whore
2. I'd also bet that these companies are doing it on purpose. So movie tie-in games are notoriously bad and notoriously don't sell extremely well. I'd be willing to bet that they made the achievement stuff easier to get to try and sell more games. So, King Kong, who the hell would ever buy King Kong if it didn't have achievements and it didn't have 1,000 easy achievements?
I did for the PC, although I waited for it to be cheap, like $5. But hey, still bought it.
All right, well, you're the only one.
Well, I'm sure their business model wasn't wait till we take a loss on the product, then sell it.
Yeah. One thing I would love to see, this probably isn't going to happen anytime soon, but I would love to see Microsoft start a program where there are negatively valued achievements.
I agree. Ranked online games, if you die 100 times, or if you kill yourself a certain number of times.
Team kill or something.
Yeah, you get a negative achievement. It would put the definition back into the word. You shouldn't get an achievement just through regular playing of the game, I don't think. They should do something.
Because that way I shouldn't have any achievements.
Yeah. And so something in like Crackdown had two cool achievements that were kind of tied together. One was crawl to the top of that tower, which was no easy feat if you didn't have your jump thing maxed out. And then there was a second achievement for jumping off of that building and landing in this tiny little pool of water. And so that is actually an achievement to actually be able to do that.
Especially if you see the 3 times that preceded the time you actually made it into the pool.
Next topic.
2 weeks ago, Capcom had on their website this whole big countdown timer. So when the timer hits 000, we're going to get this fantastic brand new earth-shattering announcement. The main announcement was Street Fighter 4. So is that earth-shattering?
If it looks like the trailer, yes. If not, I'm going to be horribly disappointed regardless of what they put out.
So the trailer was really cool. It was a fight between Ken and Ryu, and it looked really neat. It was kind of weird. There's this whole black smoke kind of...
Yeah, it looked like Japanese calligraphy watercolor, very kind of stylized, flowy, fluidy kind of effects around everybody, and they look like they were sketched with ink. It looked really, really neat.
Very artistic, which leads me to believe that is the exact reason why that will not be the way that...
Exactly. I have no idea how the hell you'd implement something like that in a real-time game, but you know what? You never know.
If they could do it, it would be earth-shattering.
That was one major announcement. The other major announcement was apparently... some of the PlayStation 3 fans out there were feeling that Capcom really wasn't giving them too much love because one of their favorite franchises, Monster Hunter 3, was exclusively to the Wii. So there's no version of that coming out for the PlayStation 3. In response to that, Capcom had said, we're going to give these PlayStation 3 owners a reason to be joyous, a reason to love Capcom again. We're bringing Lost Planet to the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
It was a good game, but I don't know that the PlayStation 3 people were up in arms because they were not able to play Lost Planet.
And I guess the big announcement, which I'm looking forward to, is Bionic Commando. They're finally bringing out a new Bionic Commando for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
Bionic Commando, I believe it was an NES game, was a lot of fun. It was kind of a game where you had a robotic type arm that shot out a grappling hook kind of thing.
It's kind of surprising it took so long for Bionic Commando to have something new made, because a lot of games have that whole grapple system. I know Lost Planet has a grapple system. A couple other ones do. It's a nice way to travel, as Bob pointed out once.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Okay, we got, there's a new Xbox version coming out.
The Xbox Arcade, they are essentially renaming the core system, which is the lesser Xbox 360 without a hard drive, rebranding it as the Xbox Arcade, which is going to include like a memory card, and they're kind of marketing it as a system for people who aren't necessarily really into the retail shrink wrap games, but more for the downloadable games.
I think their target audience is the casual gamer.
The casual gamer, and kind of changing the entry level model.
So let me get this straight. They're releasing it, they're calling it Arcade, but it doesn't have a hard drive, so you really can't download anything from the Xbox Live Arcade. Okay.
Well, you can download it, but you have to put it on a memory card, which means you're not going to get a whole lot of games.
That's really not going to fly.
Which was going to be my point of why this isn't a great idea, because if they are marketing it for casual gamers, for more the arcade audience, really kind of a mistake to force those people to not have a decent storage system. People who buy this system aren't going to take full advantage of it. You're not going to be able to download a TV show or a movie because there's nowhere to put it.
Yeah, how can these people actually use the video marketplace? They can't. Totally forgot about the video stuff. That's really stupid because that's a whole huge thing right there.
Wow, that's retarded. I don't know what the hell these people are thinking.
If they want this thing to be useful for the casual person is going to want other functionality.
Sure. Let's put ourselves in a potential customer. So they buy this Xbox Arcade package. They put the CD in that comes with the free games. They play and they say, wow, this is really cool. I wonder what else they have. So they start browsing the Xbox Live Arcade marketplace and they see, wow, there's all these games. And wow, look at this. I can download my favorite Family Guy episodes, or I can rent a movie and watch it. And then they're going to find out that, oh, I can't do any of that stuff. I can't get any videos or movies. I download Symphony of the Night, and already I've filled up my memory card.
And then this nice little ad pops up saying, for $100, you can get this nice little 20-gigabyte hard drive. That's probably going to turn them off more. It's like, oh. Well, in the first place, I could have bought the $350 version, saved some money, and had everything I wanted.
And gotten it cheaper, because if this is $280, for another $100, you're up to $380. But if you spent $350 in the first place, you would have gotten a hard drive. It's going to wind up being more expensive for people. I don't think that was their intention. Let's screw them by making them pay more money than they would have if they just spent a little more money up front. I think their intentions are good. They want an entry-level thing that competes with the Wii that is for casual gamers, but I don't think that they were, listen to me, I'm all of a sudden a marketing guru, but, I don't think they were thinking ahead for long-term customers saying, here's this thing, but look at all this other stuff we have available to you, but you can't use any of it because we didn't bother giving you a storage device.
Next topic.
Why do they have all these weird names? Elite Pro, Arcade, Core.
I don't know. And Xbox,
That's totally not confusing.
Xbox started the multiple SKU thing. I liked it back in the day when you bought a console, there was only one to pick from. And I got to tell you, as somebody who isn't necessarily a PS3 kind of guy, I consider myself kind of a hardcore gamer, but even I am confused with how many different PlayStation 3 models there are. Some of them have backwards compatibility, some don't.
The stupid thing about that is even Best Buy is confused because in Best Buy's ad they have for the 40 gigabyte, they actually list backwards compatibility when it doesn't have any.
That's exactly my point. What is your average parent looking to buy their kid a PlayStation 3 for Christmas? Are they going to have to rely on Best Buy?
Oh, don't worry about it. No one's planning on buying a PlayStation 3.
Are they going to have to rely on their Best Buy sales floor teenagers to explain?
Oh, no. The horror.
And it's not Sony's fault, it's Best Buy's, but they're especially in trouble if they're listing it in their ad as having backwards compatibility, and then when they get it home, it doesn't.
And then Sony even confuses the issue even more with PlayStation 3 because it plays PlayStation 1 games. The 40 gigabyte one should play all PlayStation 1 games. It just doesn't play PlayStation 2 games.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's useful.
It's their fault for, trying to have all of these different SKUs and thinking that people want the choice between these different things. Now the customers got so many choices that they don't know what to pick. And I think that's a backfiring on them.
Next topic.
Mailbag! Mailbag! Yeah.
Question here from Duffman on the forums. Hey guys, I know you mentioned several times how you started the podcast, but I was wondering how the GamerCast Network community itself came about. Like who came up with it and so forth.
We started it because we wanted to gather a bunch of independent podcasters together to make a community, and so we renamed ourselves and started getting new podcasts like Gamertag Radio. That's what we did.
And we made a logo.
What's
the logo's name?
And a website.
I can never remember.
Radiohead guy.
I thought we named him. Didn't we name him Steve? Or was that just me because I'm insane and call every little sidekick I have Steve?
I think that one.
Okay. I'm comfortable with that.
It's really not that exciting of a story. We decided to start a community instead of just one podcast, so we did.
So we could bring you the greatest in independent podcasting.
No, except for the video game show. But other than that, the greatest, really
everybody
else, we suck.
That's why we had to spearhead the whole thing so they can't kick us out.
Yeah, I had a question. The recent PC version of BioShock and even the PC demo had Secure ROM in it, and initially 2K didn't know or didn't admit it was in the demo, but then later conceded to the fact. It's still a major issue for many of the BioShock's PC players, and it's the primary topic on 2K's BioShock forum. It's been that case for weeks now. 2K has expressed no remorse for the action and appears to be stonewalling about possible resolutions. despite a revoke tool that they just put out that doesn't really do that much except deal with some of the activation problems. So now it appears the PC demo of Time Crisis also has secure ROM in it. Is this going to be a growing trend for PC games, or has it always been there and we're just now hearing about it more?
Hopefully not, because I'd hope all PC games would have online content, which would make something like this completely useless.
So if they took every game has a serial number, and every serial number has a online username, you have to have both in order to play, then yeah, this kind of all does go away.
I think the thing here is that there are some PC games like BioShock which aren't going to have... I mean, I know, Bob, you said they're having online content to enhance the game, but what about a game that, like BioShock, doesn't have any online content?
So why would you buy it?
Well, I think it's pretty safe to assume that the majority of PC players have an internet connection, even if they're still using dial-up. Maybe if all you have to do is log in, if there's nothing to do online, but you still have to log... I mean, it's a better...
I'd be more
it's
comfortable
better than
with
having
that.
to deal with DRM software.
Another part of his question was, is this something that's new? Have we seen this before?
Oh, God, we've seen this before. Yeah, this is...
Well, this goes all the way back to even before Star Force and those other DRM things. I mean, even Raven Shield was a horrible experience for a lot of us because it did do that kind of thing where you logged in to a server to play online and it would say your CD key is in use, even though we weren't trying to pirate games.
Yeah, there's nothing that's more frustrating than when something with you when you paid all of the money to not be with, you know, like pimps.
Way to guarantee that line will never get on the show because Chad just edit the hell out of it. Why can't they make PC games the same way they make Xbox 360 games?
Because the PC is an open platform. The only way to get things on the Xbox is you have to usually go through the whole Microsoft thing.
Well, I guess I didn't realize that by playing an Xbox game on the Xbox, it's mostly the hardware that is verifying that you have the original game.
Yeah. Now, there are ways around that. I mean, people have figured ways out, but it's not as easy to do as it is on the PC.
I was going to say it's more trouble than it's worth for a $60 game. You know, the modding and everything else. And
well, then maybe what they should do, and that's kind of how the music industry is changing slightly, is it's too easy to copy a music CD. Maybe all of these companies should have digital distribution and do what Steam does and require you to log into their system in order to play a game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if your utopia comes to be.
yeah.
Okay, so that was Video Game Show episode number 60 for Sunday, October 21st, 2007. Any Shattered Dream Pies or ham sandwiches? I had one Shattered Dream Pie. Can I get mine out now?
Sure.
Yes.
Sorry to the guys out there who were testing the automated anti-aircraft gun, and the software apparently backfired, and the gun fired at the people testing it. So,
Ouch.
yeah. Sorry to them, Shattered Dream Pie, although they're probably dead, so they can't really enjoy it.
It's just like RoboCop.
ED209, yep. That was a good scene. Okay, anybody else?
Nope.
Okay, and finally, we're starting up a new contest, courtesy of our own listener, Zeus Hates You, from the GamerCast Network forums. He's offering up a copy of Battlefield 2142 and Battlefield 2. For all the details, check out the Video Game Show website at videogameshow.org. And as always, send your comments, questions, queries, or concerns to the mailbag at videogameshow.org. Skype us at Video Game Show, or call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long-distance call, and all normal fees apply. And I guess it's a wrap. Good night. Is the game developed by the old crew that did Hang on.
All right, let's get right down to this and... Hold on. I got it. Hold on.
No.
I gotta take this.
Well, what? Speak now quick.
I hope he's recording
What?
this.
Just say it.
Time is money. Chad seems to me like the kind of guy who is walking down the
Putting the
street
what
and his
down?
phone rings and he answers and he just goes, "Go."
Yeah. Or like one of those people who says his own name when he picks up the phone. Hand tack.
You got hand tack. Go.
Go.
That's what this is for. That's why we're doing this. I'm not... No.
No. It's a
I told you
bad
not to be
Tom.
stupid.
Okay? Bye.
All right. You got that? You sure? You got that? Okay.
I will not repeat myself.
That was really funny.